broadcasting live from the Norman P. Murray Community Center in the city that makes living its mission. It's Breakfast with Gary and Kelly, featuring special guest Jonathan Butler.
It's the seats right here.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to Breakfast with Gary and Kelly, everybody. Thrilled that you're here. Are you all infected with Olympic fever? Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, we want to extend the experience. We've actually brought in a whole bunch of stray dogs, so I thought that'd be nice. Oh, nice. Thanks very much. Thanks, Stormy.
You know what the Olympic fever, Russia is 8 or 10 hours away from us.
Yes,
so
they are.
It's always
You go to Russia?
late.
8 or 10 hours away.
So late in the night. It's to watch.
Yes,
Oh,
it
you're
is.
gonna set
Kelly's
the
really
clock.
tired. She had a long night last
But
night.
guess who's going to be sitting in this seat?
You know, this is
Isn't it exciting?
Yeah, if this guy, I said this earlier, if this guest who is joining us today didn't have a musical bone in his body, we would still want him here to talk about his life.
Exactly.
But in addition to his just
He's got
remarkable and inspirational story,
He's got a lot of musical bones.
oh, spectacular. We're
Amazing.
thrilled that he is here with us today. This is his latest effort, Grace and Mercy. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome the great Jonathan Butler.
There he is.
Morning. Morning. It's good to be here this morning. I was up at 6, 5, 6, something like that. And it's good to be here. It's this is very different, kind of whole different setting. You guys are starting something new. Maybe I should try this at home. Invite my neighbors over and sell my CDs to them. Well, we're going to play some music and enjoy the morning, and it's always a good thing to wake up with some good music. And I'm going to start with a song that is a favorite for. I grew up with James Taylor and Carole King and Bread and, Chicago, all these great. So one of my favorite songs that I like to do by James Taylor is this. Yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Susan, the plans they made put an end to you. So I woke up this morning and I wrote down the song. Just can't remember who to send it to. And I've seen fire, seen rain, seen sunny days I thought would never end. Seen lonely times I couldn't find a friend. But I always thought I'd see your face again. Better look down upon me, Jesus. Help me make a stand. Just gotta see me through another day. My body is aching and my time is at hand. I can make it any other way, and I see fine rain. Since sunny days I thought would never end. Lonely times that I couldn't find nobody. But I always thought I'd see you again. Ooh, walking my mind through an easy time, my back towards the sun. Who knows where the cold wind blows, gonna turn my head around. And hours of time on the telephone, talking things to come. Sweet in pieces on the ground, and I've seen overflying rain. I've seen sunny days I thought would never end. Oh, no, 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 no. I've seen the lonely times I couldn't find a friend. Oh, but I always thought yes, I always thought I'd see you
Hey, thank you.
Jonathan Butler.
I told you. I told you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Unbelievable.
Don't go away.
We're
We'll
gonna-
be right back.
Jonathan Butler here on Breakfast with Gary and Kelly. Wow.
Wow.
Welcome back to Breakfast with Gary and Kelly, everybody. Jonathan Butler. So good to meet you finally. And I'm so grateful for you to be here this morning, man. I know it's an early call, but you know.
This is great. I mean,
You were up at 5?
Yeah, I was up at 5.
What time did you go to bed?
See, I just moved to a new house, and so I'm in the process of U-hauling.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you got to make some Amish friends,
So
man.
I've done. I started out with a 26-foot U-haul. Now it's a 10 by 10 U-haul. So my house is full of boxes. My bedroom is full of boxes, and I was looking for a guitar to bring this morning and to find CDs that through these boxes.
Yes, yes.
So and then I see my picture up there, and it's all good.
There you go. And it's a fine picture indeed.
Fine picture indeed, yeah.
And you just got back from the Philippines too. You were
Yeah,
there
I was in the Philippines
Manila?
with Michael. Yeah, I was
Yes.
in Manila with Michael Paulo and what's his guy? David Pack.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and David Benoit. We did the benefit for the typhoon devastation.
Heal
that happened.
Manila.
Crazy.
That
It's
was-
crazy, huh?
It's called the Heal Our Land.
Did Michael Paulo inspect the Philippine golf courses to make sure they
Well,
were up to?
as a matter of fact, now that I play golf, I actually played golf twice in Manila. It
There you
was
go.
pretty amazing. It was
I'll bet.
absolutely
I'll
incredible.
bet.
Yeah.
Well, that time thing is you got to be a mess, man. All the more reason. I'm glad.
Yeah, I
you're
was
here.
there with Ray Parker Jr. You know, who you gonna call? Mr.
That's right.
Ghostbusters.
Mr. Hollywood, star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame now.
We
Yeah.
sat together on the plane, and we were just talking about how amazing our lives are, that we get to get on a plane and go somewhere and do something really special
Yeah.
for the people of Manila, and then come home and enjoy it. So.
I'm guessing you're a guy that has a deep appreciation for that. Probably deeper than most.
Well, yeah, the other night I was talking to my granddaughter, who's 6 now. She's gonna be 7, and she wanted to know stories about me, like, were you poor? And I'd say yes. And did you have a bathroom? No. Did you drink water? No, we had to buy water. So where did you bath? And where do you use the restroom? So it's
wow.
like those stories that I'm sharing with her were the ones I shared with her mother, with my kids that are older.
For sure.
And so I definitely have a deep appreciation for life
should write a
itself.
book.
Just for life itself and people.
Yeah.
I get to do this that I love so much.
Yeah. Walk us through. Many people know your story, but walk us through your childhood. The overview of this whole thing. It's just amazing, and it inspires. And
I'm from South Africa. I mean, growing up for me in South Africa was pretty. It was distorted in some ways because it was. You had whites only signs everywhere. You had coloreds only signs everywhere. Coloreds meaning that if you were mixed with all, with Indian, Italian, the government of the time called you colored. Unlike America where you're just black or you're just white. So, and I grew up in a family of 12 kids in a shack.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Where were
we
you in
12.
that 12?
I was the baby of the 12.
Oh.
And so we lived in a shack with an outhouse and no electricity, no running water, we'd buy water from our neighbors who had water. But we were all musicians, and so we all sang in the community, either in Malay choirs or carnivals.
How did you become musicians? Were your parents?
My parents were musicians,
Okay.
and the ones that inspired me the most was my oldest brother, and my older sister, because they sang professionally.
Okay.
And so they traveled, and I wanted to do what they were doing. That's all I wanted. I didn't want to go to school. I just wanted to sit there, play guitar, and sing and travel. And my dreams came true very early. I mean, I was 7 years old, and I was already singing in the neighborhood, in cabaret and with carnival, and so I sort of had a household name already in Cape Town. And then one day, this man, white man, comes to my mom's house, and he's like 6'6", and he heard about me and that I'm this kid that can sing, and I auditioned for him. And actually, first I ran away because I've never saw a white man that big in my house ever. So I first ran away, and then they went to grab me again and bring me back so I could sing for him. And
Well, I'm sure that calmed you right down.
yeah, and I sang, and I sang "My Delilah" by Tom Jones, and I got the job at the age of 7, and so I toured with a big traveling cast. In caravan every year, 8 months of the year. We'd be in theaters. And we would sleep in the theaters. The women would sleep on the stage. The men would sleep over there.
You're 7 years old.
7 years old,
Did you have a chaperone, or did somebody
We
go
had-
with you from
My
your
brother
family?
Danny was on the road, and Sandra was on the road with me.
Okay.
And then we had a tutor.
Because I'm not quite
private
sure if I would
tutor.
let my 7-year-old leave.
Well, I tell you what, when I see the amount of plates that my mother had to put up every night to dish up, I say, I need my own food. So I finally got to eat my own food by myself. And, but I mean, every night my mother used to dish up for not just the 12 kids, but nieces and nephews were living with us in the same shack. So we grew up poor, and lots of challenges. Like I said, those days in South Africa, only 20 years ago that we are now a free nation, but it had major challenges. As an artist, you're always playing under censorship, or you couldn't talk about political issues.
Did that happen while you were traveling as well?
Yeah.
So this large white man who got you into these places, I would assume that he would pave the way.
Well, he was kind of a rare breed, because I remember him beating a man up because the man was talking about he's artist. So he beat the guy up, and I was like, well, that's kind of cool, You're out here defending your artist. That's
good.
That's what. But I mean, it was, everything was censored before you could put the show on the road.
Yeah.
And I was one of many other kids on the road. So we had tutors that would teach us schooling and all that stuff. But my schooling really kind of happened. Just being on the road, traveling throughout Africa, and I mean, my mouth was dropped and my eyes were open, my ears were receptive. Everything about what was happening is, sort of affected, even till today, largely affected by all the stuff I learned, and I can pass it on through music,
Can you remember a point in time when you went, the stuff that was going on around you from the day you were born, until you realized, oh my God, this is not the way life is supposed to be?
Well,
or did you know that immediately from your family?
I knew that because we had to play one night. We'll play for whites in the city hall, and then Friday night we play in the township. So it just became real, and it just became really a thing for me. And listening to the older artists and musicians talk about Nelson Mandela, so to speak, and the ANC, and Martin Luther King, and I'm listening to these conversations go on around me.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, I guess this is a different world. Even though, Cape Town today, when you go to Cape Town today, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful.
That's what I have heard. It's one of the great cities of the world.
And I take people, on a safari now. So I show people there's Cape Town, and then there's townships. And in these townships it's a different world.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a different world. So you kind of, what I love about what I'm doing now is show people all the sides. It's just like me singing to you guys. I feel it's all emotion. It's all real feelings that come from deep sources that I'm grabbing from to sing, because you can't just be a singer and just, it's got to come from a place of pain and suffering, hunger, joy, all of that stuff.
Yeah. Well, Fire and Rain certainly is kind of
That's
right
my
in your
song.
wheelhouse, man. Yeah.
Well,
it
this
really
one of you guys, he loved the song. So I was telling my daughter, I said, I don't know, let's see what we start with today. So one of your friends came up and said, man, that's Fire and Rain. It's a great song. I said, well, there's my first song.
All right.
Yeah. Unreal. So how was it? Walk us through getting out of the country and.
Well, because now,
England, right?
now that I'm a household name and I'm traveling and I'm hearing people on the radio singing and all I wanted to do was be on the radio. And there was a company called CCP Productions out of Johannesburg, and they were distributed by Weir.
Oh, okay.
And so they had a lot of local artists that they'd signed, and I wanted to make records, so they heard about me. So they came to this club, a nightclub. I was singing with a band called The Rockets. And they came to the club, they heard me sing, and they said, we need to see your parents.
How old are you at this time?
12.
12.
We need to see your parents. So they came out to my parents' house with a contract.
Wow.
And they told my mom, we want to make records. We think, his voice is amazing. Would you let us sign him and take him to Johannesburg? And I'm praying to my mother to say, yes, please, let me go. Let me go sign anyway, And she signed my life
Did you do
away
one of
until I was
these?
21. Yeah, until I was 21, I was signed to, that company is now Jive Records.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. They South African guys who founded Jive Records. And then I made my first record, it was called Please Stay. And that went to #2 on the pop charts. So I was the first black artist that they were playing on white radio stations in South Africa. And then I won a Grammy and 2 gold records, and then...
Was that at the age of 12?
At the age of 12, yeah.
Wow. I was playing with Barbie dolls. What were you doing at the age of 12, Gary?
I wasn't doing that, I guarantee you.
Oh, wow.
Unbelievable. Wow.
Wow. That is
crazy.
amazing.
You know the interesting story about that? Once the single came out and went to the pop charts, and of course, the dynamic of what South Africa was, politically, socially, that was unheard of, And so then the Grammy Awards, the South African version of the Grammys, the night they play your song and you walk in to receive your Grammy, and I had a beautiful velvet jacket on with sequins here and green and black.
At the age of 12.
And I'm walking up to the thing with my little afro, and this lady, she was Miss World at the time.
Oh.
She was married to Saul Kisner, Annalene Creel. So she presents the award and she gives me a kiss. And so the next day in the newspapers, there was nothing. There was no picture.
Really?
Yeah, there was no picture. Just a headline story about, the youngest and the first ever winner Grammy, But that's my favorite thing in my house is that little Grammy.
Oh, that's
It's my favorite thing.
So at 12, were you like being chased by girls? And
I was chased by girls. I'm chased by girls right now. I'm not doing that.
But at 12, it's like, wow.
Well, here's what I got to tell you. Slow down.
No, wiser.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I'm wiser.
Exactly.
Wow.
We are spending time with the great Jonathan Butler here this morning, and glad for it. And we're going to take a little break and come back and be honored if you would do some more singing for us.
Absolutely.
If you would, please.
Absolutely.
Jonathan Butler, stick around here on Breakfast with Gary and Kelly. Welcome back to Breakfast with Gary and Kelly, everybody. The
What
great
a-
Jonathan Butler. Who is this beautiful young
What a
thing sitting over
treat.
here next to you?
This is my youngest child, Jody Butler.
Yeah, Jody.
Jody, thank you for coming.
Now, see, she had no problem getting up so early this morning. She was very happy about it. Well, we're very glad you guys are here this morning. What are we going to do?
Well, we're going to sing you a couple of songs. I thought maybe Sarah is a good idea right now.
Yes, it is.
Sweet.
Jonathan
All right.
Butler.
saw her across a crowded room. She looked so good, memories came rushing into my head. Oh, there was a sparkle in her eyes. Was it for me or my imagination running wild? I see the more things change, the more they stay the same. I thought I was past the pain, one thought of you, and it's back again. Sarah, Sarah, what happened to you and I? Sarah, 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 how did your love die? This time, said I'm gonna be strong. Though emotions rush in, swore that I'm never gonna fall apart. No, how could we watch our dream crumble into dust? There's so much more life has in store for the two of us. Sarah, Sarah, what happened to you and I? Sarah, 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 how did the fire die? I must admit, love never dies deep in my heart. A bit of you still survives. La 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 la. Whoa. Sarah, Sarah, what happened to you and I? Sarah, 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 how did the fire die? Oh. You know, this is a song that Jody and I sometimes do. It's from a CD I did a while ago. A song called Sing Me Your Love Song. And it's a very South African flavored love song. Ooh. I said sing love, don't say goodbye. She said the notes are much too high. I said love's always been the hit, but she lost the melody, the words would never fit. Then breath to breath I kissed her lips. She smiled and sighed and said, my soul remembers this. Sing me your love song. Sing me your love song again. Sing me your love song. Sing me your love song. To melt a heart, to light a fire. sang love gently to a choir. The rhythm moved and swooned and swayed. She said, I've been this tuned but never played this way, running her fingers through my rhyme. She smiled and sighed and said, my soul remembers this song, yeah. Sing me your love song. Sing me your love song again. Sing me your love song. Sing me your love song. Let every life be with love. When you love so glad. I understand by the touch of your hand how you want me night and day, and I'm ready when you say, oh, sing me your love song. Sing me your love song again. Sing me your love song. Whoa. Sing me your love song. Yalla la yalla ba. Yalla la so gege. Yalla la so mo. Yalla yalla ba 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 so. La 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 yeah. Yella soma che bamo, yalla la 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 sing it, oh 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 oh. Let's say it again.
Very nice, very nice.
Well,
thank you very much.
There's a couple of voices that go very well together.
Like I told him, the apple doesn't fall from the
Jonathan Butler.
tree.
Stick around. We're going to come back
Don't
and chat
go
with
away.
Jody some more. Bergeson, Gary, and Kelly. Welcome back to Bergeson, Gary, and Kelly, everybody. Like our audience? You got a good audience, don't we?
The audience are off the chart.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. That's you guys. Thanks very much. We're glad you're here.
And just so you know, Jonathan, we do have a lot of listeners around the world who are listening as well.
Wow, this is
So
amazing.
you are like being broadcasted around the world.
Oh my goodness, this is
Seriously.
crazy.
We get phone calls and emails. We just heard New Zealand,
Wow.
Brazil, Portugal,
Are you serious?
Italy, Japan. Yeah.
My goodness.
And
She
even,
can name all kinds of countries.
and even the States too.
That's amazing.
Pennsylvania.
That's right.
That's amazing.
Jody, I'm so glad you came. Thanks
Thank
so
you
much.
for having me.
Yeah, you guys, surprisingly, you sound great together.
Really? And you were saying you have other siblings that are in singing as
she has
well?
I have an older sister and older brother. My sister sings, my brother doesn't. He's actually in the Canadian Football League, but my sister...
Oh,
she's,
is that right?
Yeah, and my sister is a Montessori preschool teacher.
Oh, nice.
And she sings with us once a year, but she's deathly afraid of singing in front of people. Yeah.
Yeah, she's got stage fright.
She
Mad stage
freaks
fright.
out, so she only
She's
does
really
it when
good.
I'm there, yeah.
She's really good. She's got the Nora Jones thing, but or the Randy Crawford thing, you know, but she's just very,
Yeah.
Oh, either one.
she gets like stage fright.
So is this what you want to do? Is this your
Yeah,
passion?
it is my passion. Music is my passion. I've been touring with him for now 11 years. 11 years. I started.
And you started when you were 7, right?
I started when
You were probably 2.
I was 14. I was 14.
At church. It all started in church.
There you go.
She was in the youth team, and on Thursday nights I would audition for new people. And if you know my church and some of the singers, they need a lot of prayer. So, you know, she came by. She came by. Wow. Just real talk, you know. Let's just be honest. There's so many in the choir that think they Whitney Houston, and you're like, Father God, just set them free.
Hallelujah.
And she came by, and she was actually too young to join the praise team, you know, because they had an age thing. But I just liked the fact that there was somebody who had a tone and had a vibrato and could hold the song, and I was like, I need that person.
Well, that's setting the bar pretty low,
really.
So,
And so, you know, it started. That's where it started. Because I was leading worship at my church, and a church I used to go to, and then after a while, I think she was you were doing school, and you were sort of having a hard time in school, and then I said to your mom, let me just take her with me and let her do what she loves to do, and we'll figure the rest out.
She got the fever.
Yeah.
Yeah. 11 years later, yeah.
But but you do your classes. You're doing your school classes.
Of course.
Yeah, I still go to school.
Because I paid for it.
Mark the file.
Just the other day.
Mark the file.
It's fresh. It's all fresh money that went to that.
Where do you go to school?
Well, now I'm going to LA Valley College
Okay.
because we tour all year, so it's a little bit hard with my schedule because I can't have a normal student schedule and still tour. So I do some online classes and go once a week.
Very nice.
But I got good news. I mean, I'm going to share a bit of good news. Please. Is that she's going to live in South Africa for a year to work with my foundation. I have the Jonathan Butler Foundation.
Wow.
She's going to spend a year.
Tell us about your foundation.
You know, it's a music school. It's a music school. It's music therapy. It's drug abuse awareness programs. We deal with all the township kids that are affected with drugs and traumatized kids with violence and stuff like that. So I didn't want to be a dead person before somebody decided to have a Jonathan Butler Foundation. I thought where to start best is at home. And so we are government funded. We are funded by the lottery. It's actually real. You know, we're seeing, she was there, the impact of these little kids reading music, writing music. We have about 100 kids in one of the townships and 10 teachers. We have a lot of girls that are actually playing more than boys, which is kind of cool to see them, you know, on drums and bass and saxophone and professionals in the music therapy side. So we are also kind of working towards the States and Berkeley College of Music to do internships with and exchange students with.
Nice.
So we're doing quite a bit of work right now. So she's gonna leave in September and stay there for a year and work with Foundation.
Oh, is that going to be hard
So I'll miss
on
her.
you?
We'll miss her. Yeah, we'll miss her.
Oh, but it's going to be so worthwhile for you. What an opportunity. What an
I'm very
opportunity.
excited.
Good for you.
You must be so proud.
Tell us about Nelson Mandela. I mean, you know, your association with him and how it started, and I mean, what a remarkable man.
I first met Nelson Mandela with Prince Charles and Prince Charles' two boys. And this is when Mandela actually came out of prison and went to the State House and became the president. And we were all there, like the Spice Girls were there, I was there, Billy Ocean, we were all, the Spice Girls.
Spice Girls.
It's really, it's not a real thing unless the Spice Girls are there.
Yeah, the president thought it was funny too. Because they were all over, you know, it's just like, and we did the two
Kelly
nations.
is known as Cooking Spice, by the way, just so you know.
We did the two nations in concert, the AIDS awareness thing, and then I had the opportunity to sing for the president, like you sitting here, singing Amazing Grace for him. And that was the same day that I actually buried my mother that same Saturday. So I went from there to see him and do Amazing Grace and sang that for him. And Sharon Stone was there, and Robert De Niro, Clint Eastwood, they were all there. Everybody was there. And so you can imagine it was a seriously choked up moment for me. It was just like too much. And you know, I couldn't say too much to President Nelson other than thank you and that I love you. I couldn't find any more words. I got lost. I got stuck, you know. And he just hugged me and just said, you know, we need you out there. Stay out there, you know. So to me, it was a green light to be where I am, you know. Exactly. Coming from him, and you know, he was talking about how my music gave them so much hope when they were in prison, you know, because the political prisoners lived different from the normal criminals. I mean, they were more isolated, like all hope. They wouldn't even have a window to see kids. So it was very different. I mean, when you go and see it, it's just pretty crazy. But and several times that I've seen him, it just like it was just an emotional time when you meet a guy like him, because he's like everybody's dad. Yeah. He looks like everybody's grandfather. Mm-hmm. He looks like everybody's. I can see my mother through his eyes. You know what I mean?
I do.
It just
every
an amazing
picture of him,
person.
he just had that smile
it just
that just
looked like he was
glowed.
everybody's granddad or something, you know. And I mean, he's just a graceful man. It's just wisdom, and you know, it's funny because it teaches me. What it teaches me is that you know, struggles and trials and tribulations, they really just fashion our lives. They kind of shape our lives, you know. Because he went into prison like rebel, you know, like rebel and mad, you know, and then over the course of his life, he became this gracious. You know what I'm saying? So life has a way, God has a way of shaping our lives to bring us into his plan, not our plan.
Oh, yeah.
You know, to bring about his good. And I mean, I'm saying it today because I really needed to hear it myself. He shapes us so that, you know, we can come into his good plan and his goodwill. Sometimes I don't think we know ourselves what that is. You know.
Have you always had this relationship with the Lord?
Amen.
Or I mean, from the time you were little?
30-something years I've been saved, born again, spirit-filled, speaking tongues. And a deep lover for the word. That to me was, I was talking to somebody the other day about, I think it was to you. I said, there has to be a transformation when, you know, when people come and they say they're born again, whatever, there has to be a true transformation, you know. Otherwise, there's no foundation there. Mm-hmm.
It's a difference between living it and talking
it. And you know, I accepted Christ. I remember that day so clearly. You know, I was a young drug addict. I was invited to a youth meeting with, and I get to the youth meeting and there's a bunch of kids. I must have been 18, about 18, 19. I get there and a bunch of young people worshiping, and this lady's talking about suicide, and it's like God was speaking to me because I was literally doing so much drugs all the time, being famous to just taking the other path, you know. And that night I remember just being the only one with my hands up. I want to get saved. I want to get saved today. And man, I accepted Christ that night. And the next morning I remember I could actually smell food. For the first time I could smell food, like, because I had lost my taste and, you know, smell, and I was baptized in the ocean, and then I just became so hungry for the word. That was something that it was just God's way of saying, look, I've got you.
He was chasing you.
It was chasing me down. And so it's for me today, it's more ministry than it is just entertainment.
Do you find some of your music is coming from that as well,
right? It's more ministry. She knows, you know, I mean, we go to Africa together, and sometimes it's more ministry than it is entertaining, because I do feel that, you know, I get testimonies from people. You know, one lady just came up and said, man, I had to come see your show because I just buried my brother today. You know, I mean, the stories are amazing.
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
then I just go like, what? You know, shouldn't you be there? Or one man came up to me and he said, you know, my wife was sitting over there, and he said she was diagnosed with cancer, but something happened to her. Something has happened to her tonight, and he kept in touch with me. And she's fine. Wow. She's fine.
Aww.
It's crazy. It's just like
That's far more than coincidence.
Yeah.
Is it frustrating to you at all that gospel music is not more prominent commercially, or
Yes.
does it?
Yes. Well, you know, with gospel music, it's interesting because within the gospel community, it sells, and in the Christian community, it sells. But to me, being an artist who was born again, who does jazz, who does gospel, I have found that God has opened the door for me to walk both parallel worlds. And because, I mean, I didn't grow up in church, you know what I mean? I sort of came from jazz, and like I told her, why did you make a gospel record? And she's like, I want to do that's, but you know, but she's like, no, I'd rather do this, you know. I think there's a lot of artists like Kirk Whalum and myself, where the late Wayman Tisdale, where we are Christians, but we in the mainstream world,
Right,
you know?
right.
And I don't know. I think I'm sure a lot of gospel artists and Christian artists, you know, have the same thing that you're just asking me.
Yeah.
Because they like to break out and be like accepted as an artist. I mean, but because there's always this stereotypical, people put you in a box all the time, and they expect you to stay in that box.
I had the privilege of meeting Joni Eareckson Tada last night,
Yes.
who sang the song Alone But Not Alone.
Yes.
And she has an amazing story as well, and the work that she's doing and the group that the Movie Guide Awards are doing, making known to Hollywood that they are honoring faith-based television and movies.
Yes.
It's a change.
You know, I was at a church one day, and I was singing. This pastor kind of, in the name of Jesus. I was like, whoa, what did I do? You know, the first thing I thought was, what did I do wrong? I haven't sinned for like 20 years, Lord, 30 years. I stopped sinning, Lord God, you know. And he just like, no, he said, this is what God is telling me to tell you, that some of us are called to serve in the house, and some of us are called to serve outside, and you are called to serve outside. Your place is not in the house, but when you're in the house, you come and you facilitate and bless, but my job is on the street, like where real people live. And like, you know, nightclubs, I will never fall in a nightclub. I always tell her mother, I'd say, you know, I don't like to go to nightclubs. I work there. You know, I like dancing, but, you know, I don't want to be in nightclubs just to hang. That's because it used to be the place of work.
Yeah.
You know, we do club dates, whatever, you know. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, this is as suspected. This is going really fast. We're gonna we need to take another break. We're gonna come back and get another song out. You gonna play a little piano here thing?
Yeah, as a matter of fact,
Jody?
I don't mind playing it.
And Jody will do it. Good.
Yes. Wonderful. Don't go away.
Welcome back to Breakfast with Gary and Kelly, everybody. JB, this has gone so fast, and I'm so glad that you're going to use this beautiful piano that we have. Yeah.
Well, the song I'm going to sing for you is, since we've been talking along the spiritual lines, I wrote a song about probably 10 years ago. Kirk Whalum did the Gospel According to Jazz CD, and I wrote the song while I was hiking, and I told him, I said, hey man, I got a little song that I can do on your record. He said, no, I already wrote the song for you to sing. I said, I know it's your record, but I have a song. I'm gonna sing on your record. And he said, okay, you can do anything you want. So this song, I mean, I gotta give Kurt all the credit for just being so obedient to allow God to use the song on his album, because it's blessed so many people. It's called Falling in Love with Jesus.
Oh, lovely.
Jonathan Butler.
Okay.
falling in love with Jesus, falling in love with Jesus, falling in love with Jesus was the best thing that I ever done. In his arms I feel protected. In his arms I'm never disconnected, no. In his arms I feel protected. There's no place that I would rather be. Falling in love with Jesus. Oh, falling in love with Jesus. Falling in love with Jesus was the best thing that I ever done. Ooh, in your arms, I feel protected. Lord, in your arms, I'm never disconnected, no. In your arms, I feel protected. There's no place that I would rather be. There's no place that I would rather be. There is no one like you, faithful and true. There is none that compares to you. Oh, there is none like you. No one else will do. And I love you, Lord, most of all. I love you, Lord.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan Butler.
How about that, huh?
Jody, if you come out here and say
Jody, come here.
hi.
Jonathan, thank you so much. Grace and Mercy is the
Come on out
CD.
here.
Get it.
Come on out here.
Our thanks to Jonathan Butler and his beautiful daughter, Jody.
Thank you so much for joining
Thanks to
us.
you, too. We'll see you next time on Breakfast with Gary and Kelly.
took a vow to be ever true. I live up to mine. Tell me, did you? Somebody saw you with your old lover, hand in hand. I don't understand. Oh, you said it ended long, long ago. You had me believing while you were deceiving me with lies, lies. Wish I could have seen it in your eyes, lies, but I never did. Say lies, lies. It took so long to realize lies. I was too caught up in your web of lies. Somebody calls at the strange time. I heard another voice on the other side. You giving me the same old story. It's just a friend. That's who it is. I hate to tell you my faith in you is shaking. Don't tell me that you love me when I know you cheated on me. Baby, lies, lies. Wish I could have seen it in your eye. Lies, but I never did. Say lies, lies. It took so long to realize lies, but I was too caught up in your web of lies. Lies. You had me believing while you were deceiving me. Say lies, lies. Wish I could have seen it in your eye. Lies, but I never did. Say lies, lies. It took so long for me to realize lies. Ooh, yeah. I see you cheated on me with a white lie, with a wicked lie. You cheated on me with a white lie, with a wicked lie. Yeah, yeah. Oh, said you cheated on me with a white lie, with a wicked lie. But I was